Here we go. Excuse me. Real quick, I just want to make a disclaimer from our buddy over here from Despicable Me. I'm not a doctor. I'm simply sharing what I'm doing and sharing my journey. But if you are going through health things, make sure you consult with a professional or a doctor because I'm just sharing what I'm going through. Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. My name is Jake. If we haven't met, I guess that's obvious because my name's on the YouTube channel. Anyways, I'm 7 months into one of the most challenging journeys of my life, which is healing Lyme disease. It took a while for me to get to the point of even figuring out I had Lyme disease. It took about 5 months. Now I know, and I am on a trajectory towards healing. And I gotta be honest, I really do think I'm making progress, and there has been blips in the road nonetheless. So I want to take you guys into an inside look into everything I'm doing, because there is a lot, from antibiotics to meditation, mindfulness, you know, the physical to the metaphysical, everything in between. I'm going to take you guys inside and show you every little thing I'm doing, and I am healing this thing. And if you are going through a health thing, so are you, and I hope this video is valuable. So let's dive in. Here's my journal. For the past 2 months or so, what I've been doing is I write my symptoms every day, because honestly, like, it can be hard to keep track of everything that's going on. And because I'm with myself every day, I want to make sure I'm writing down my symptoms so I can notice progress or different shifts that are happening with my body. So I write symptoms from the day before and how I slept that night. And then the second thing I do is I write at least 5 things I'm grateful for. Again, this is something I've been doing for years, but I think it's so important, especially when you're on this journey of healing, to put things into your mind, to focus on what we do have, focus on the blessings that we do have in our life, and try and let that energy expand into us and heal us. Okay, as you can see here, bam, I'm on a lot of different medications, supplements, and protocols. So I'm gonna break down real briefly each of these different things, and I won't nerd out on you too hard, so stay tuned. I'm being guided by an amazing health coach who is helping me get in the right direction, because to be honest, this is so complex and there's so much to this world that I don't think I would be able to navigate this on my own. My health coach is amazing. Her name is Jennifer. I'll put a link below if you want to learn more about her. All right, how's that for a lineup? So this is called the CellCore Biosciences Protocol. Essentially, Jennifer's the one who guided me to this CellCore Biosciences protocol. So I'm trusting in her, but the research I have done is that these guys are amazing. They're really passionate, along with all the clinical trials they've done and all the extensive research, to creating a holistic protocol that works on each of the levels in the body. So as you can see, it does require a decent amount of supplements per day. Every day I have about 3 to 4 cups of this Cistus Ichinus tea. It's antiviral, which is also good for Corona season. It's antibacterial, it's a biofilm buster. There's all these amazing health benefits, and I just have it pretty much every day because it kind of tastes like water anyways, and I'm just constantly making it. So it's another great thing to have, because a lot of people who are dealing with Lyme or all these different things might be dealing with a virus as well. My health coach suspects that that's what I'm dealing with based on my lab tests, so I'm having a lot of tea. I also take a variety of supplements that you can just buy at the store, like magnesium, we got silver, we got fish oil, zinc, vitamin C, a couple things that are just important minerals and vitamins for the body, as I am, again, fighting some infections and parasites. So I want to make sure all of my minerals and good things that you're supposed to have high in your body are high. Let me tell you, I am really looking forward to the day where I don't have to take 50 supplements and be thinking about taking these things like 8 different times a day, because you have to space them out because some binders bind to one thing so it can deplete this thing, yada yada. But for now, we're popping pills, and by pills I mean healthy supplements for your body like there's no tomorrow. So you do what you gotta do. Bottoms up. So I have 3 teaspoons of this Premier Research Labs liquid zinc. It's kind of gross, but it's not gross, it just like has a funky taste in your mouth. And then I have 2 teaspoons of this alkaline silver twice a day. And I am on antibiotics. Now, antibiotics can be somewhat controversial in the Lyme world that I've looked at so far. I think it depends on like the the effectiveness based on how long you might have had these parasites in your system. Nonetheless, I am on it. I'm also working with a medical doctor as well as the health coach. So health coach is helping me more holistically, making sure all my systems are intact. The medical doctor is more just focused on killing these parasites ASAP. I've been on doxycycline for about 2 months, and then I'm on a couple other ones that were prescribed to me to also kill the babesia, which is another tick-related thing. So yeah, I'm hopeful, and again, I'm following advice, but also listening to my body because these things are powerful. And I'm also doing everything I can to mitigate any gut damage because antibiotics kill the good stuff as well as the bad stuff. So I'm also on an antifungal, and I do take a lot of supplements to make sure I'm supporting my gut. On the detoxification front, there are 2 things that I'm doing. One is I do coffee enemas. I actually made an entire video on coffee enemas, which you can check out right here. I do that about once a week. Again, the whole intention there is to just open up my detox pathways in my liver and in my intestinal tract where parasites, etc. could be stored, heavy metals, that whole thing. Another thing I do is saunas. We're going in. Just kidding, it's not opening. I try and do saunas about 4 to 5 times a week. And again, your skin is your largest organ, so another great way to detox while I'm on these antibiotics and I don't want to overburden my body with toxins, so I can open up pathways. Sauna is a great way to sweat it out. And it also just makes me feel good and relaxed. And psychologically, I feel like I'm doing something proactive. Here we go. You can't smell through the camera, but it's a nice woody, cedary smell. But here's where I sweat buckets. Another huge part of the healing process is diet, what I'm putting in my body, and I'm following this protocol called the GAPS diet, which stands for Gut and Psychology Syndrome. Essentially, it's just meat, fruit, and vegetables, which is actually not that hard to follow. At first I was like, oh, I can't eat all these different things, but it's really anything that could be irritable to the gut, which hosts 80% of our immune system, then I'm not eating it. So I think there's a lot of controversy on diets, and it's really important to find something that works for you and your body. And again, I have amazing guidance on this process. See what works for yourself, see how your body feels. I think that's really important because people are preaching like vegan and then the carnivore, which are like complete opposites, and everything in between. So again, it's very bio-individual, but that's what I'm doing, and it feels good. I don't really like wearing a shirt a lot. It's almost summertime, so I hope that doesn't bother you. Anyways, another thing that I'm using is this thing called a nebulizer. Really, the reason I'm doing this is because the potential of having some sort of virus in my respiratory system. Legit though, it smells like so fresh, like I'm using this thing called Para3 and biomolecular oxygen from the protocol that I'm on, which is the Solid Core Biosciences, but essentially you just breathe it in and it looks super dope. I'll show you, if I can plug it in. I don't know if you can see that. Oh yeah, now you can. And that's what you do. Another huge part of my healing journey and just a part of my life in general is my spiritual practices, which consist of meditation, breath work, and saying different affirmations. In terms of meditation, I've kind of varied it as I was really into the Joe Dispenza stuff. If you're not familiar with him, he's pretty amazing, and I know a lot of people who've healed from his work. I've varied from Joe Dispenza, just ones on YouTube. Guided meditations are really big for me. And now I'm doing about 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at night. I think the thing with meditation for me is it serves multiple purposes. On one hand, it just allows me to calm down and calm my nervous system. And I do a lot of the 4, 7, 8 breaths, which Dr. Andrew Weil teaches, where you inhale for 4, you hold for 7, and then you exhale for 8. After doing just 5 rounds of that, I can notice my entire body relax. And that also helps when I get sometimes anxious or stressed out because of the insane fatigue and symptoms that come with this whole Lyme thing. In affirmations, I try and repeat this phrase every day. First thing I wake up and last thing before I go to bed, where I say, thank you, God, for my perfect and complete healing. And I also do my best to every day visualize what I'm gonna be doing when I'm fully healed. So for me, I love running, and that's something I have not been able to do. I literally like visualize myself running on the beach, like with my headphones in, like bumping electronic music, like I'm like at a rave. Just like, but I'm like in my headphones. And another thing I do visualize is actually being at like a music festival with my friends, just even for like 30 seconds to feel what that would be like, to like program the world, universe, whatever, to be like, that's the vibration that I want to put out so it can provide that back to me. Another thing that I think is super important is finding something that you love to do. And for me, that's been creating. And I swear this has helped my healing process. This was about 2 months ago. So I will say, wherever you are in your journey, like, don't feel pressure to do this if you really are hurting. Like, it took me 5 months of doing nothing to get to this point. And I say nothing because I was in a lot of pain and like literally didn't feel like I had the energy to do something. But I reached this point where I knew I had to start doing something. And I think the key here is finding something that gives you energy that to other people it would drain them, but it's something that you actually love, so it gives you energy. Even though, you know, with this whole Lyme thing, you might be going through, you know, periods of insane fatigue. But for me, like creating these videos and making a podcast and writing and expressing myself literally gives me energy, whereas someone else who doesn't like this type of stuff, it would be draining for them. I've actually noticed improvements, and again, I can't correlate exactly if it's from creating, but I think a huge part of this process and journey that I'm discovering is not identifying with this illness or whatever health experience you may be going through. Because if you say, I have this, or I'm this, or I'm that, you're basically communicating that the illness has you, and that is not true. You are not whatever your body is going through. You are you, and you are having an experience. And so for me, that's why creating is so important, because if I'm creating, like, that's a greater purpose, that's a greater identity that I can choose, as opposed to whatever health experience that I may be going through now. But this is temporary, this too shall pass. Again, the point here is, what is something that you can kind of get lost and experience that flow state, have something that energizes you, whether that's cooking, painting, reading, writing, whatever the thing is. Just think about something that interests you or you find curious and just give it a try. Unfortunately, one of the worst things of my Lyme experience is sleep problems. I literally have not slept through a night in 7 months since this started. Before this, I literally headed to the pillow and I'm out like a light. So I have a whole entire practice for falling asleep, and I'll show you that right now. First step, you like my salt crystal lamp and my plant. Anyways, here's the Wi-Fi router. I turn my Wi-Fi off at night because I don't want EMFs. Just because you can't see electromagnetic frequencies does not mean that they're not present. And again, I'm doing everything I possibly can, so that's something I do every night, and I just put it back in the morning. It's like not a big deal. Then I get a few drops of this CBD oil, put under my tongue. You know, I've never really been someone who like enjoyed smoking weed. It's just never been my thing, but I will say that this experience, smoking, I hit 2 hits of this indica joint every night. It really does help me kind of fall asleep. And the reason I said 2 hits is because I've done more and then I get too high and like I can't sleep, but the marijuana really does help me to fall asleep. Again, I don't stay asleep unfortunately, but at least it helps me get to sleep. And then right before I go to bed, I play a little guitar while I'm high and just kind of let my body relax, and I tune into the music. And then I sit here in my little meditation chair spot, put on a guided meditation thanks to my JBL speaker, and I go to sleep, which unfortunately doesn't last that long because I wake up at 2 a.m. pretty much every night. Damn parasites are up, but you get the point. It does help me fall asleep though. At the time of recording this video, I am 7 months, almost to the day, since all of this started literally overnight. And it has been the most challenging journey of my life. And if you are watching this and you are in the midst of a health experience, I salute you. You are truly a warrior. In my experience, I actually did notice in the last few weeks that I have been making progress. I don't know what percentage, but I will tell you, like, I even had a glimpse about a week ago. I was starting to feel really good. I crushed a workout, I surfed, we had a bonfire here in my neighborhood, and I was like feeling animated like my normal self, and I was like, yes, I'm better. And as you probably know, like, this whole healing experience is not linear. But I, again, was like, oh, like, I'm just turned past a corner, like, you know, when you get a flu or whatever, after you reach that point, like, every day gets better. And I totally thought that was happening. Well, guess what? The last few days have been brutal for me. I kind of, again, I'm a little naive because I think I'm getting better, and I try pushing it, and then I get rocked. So what I'm trying to say is I feel like healing from Lyme or whatever other health experience, it's kind of like looking at the stock market over like 30 years. It's gonna go like this, and then down and loop-de-loop, and then up, and then down loop-de-loop. But overall, it's making this like progression that is going up. And I really feel like that's the case with my healing and probably a lot of other people's healing. And it's really important for me to remember that this is not a linear journey, but to trust the process. I hope you enjoyed this video. I appreciate you watching, and if you want to subscribe to my journey and see all the different types of videos and updates on my progress and all the other fun things I'm going to explore, make sure to subscribe below. I don't know if that's here or here, but I'm just going to point to both. And again, thanks so much, and until next week.